Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another So production. We're doing it on Friday, January the 20th. Hold on a second. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, why am I, if you're like wondering why am I gasping for air, a breath if I may catch it for a second, I don't know if it'll get uploaded. I'm gonna try to do some little tweaking, but if you see me right now, a little bit like, why is he short on that breath, right? I was, prior to talking, dancing for you, also exercising. Follow that exact same routine. If it gets uploaded and you're like, doesn't look that intense. Ladies, fellas, you put in just as much as effort as I put in right there. Those glutes, those hamstrings, muscles that you didn't even know you had, all right? It'll all be worked out. And that's right there, baby. That's just right, like that's just core, lower body strength, and a little bit of dancing. A lot of times they're like, man, the best fighters with the best footworks have got the dance moves out there. And I try to, combine my dancing and working out and fighting. And should like a situation arise where I need to, pull out all those assets and be like, oh, we're gonna be fight dancing in the street, son. Let me get my stretches in beforehand. Hamstrings, gotta, stretch the hams. You don't want to go in a fight and not stretch the ham. Not that you should be fighting right now. I don't even want to. It's just like good to protect yourself. Also, like stay limber, stay nimble. Sips up to you guys, boys and girls. And we'll see if I can tweak that because there is music on it, and we'll see if I can put it on somehow. And if it remains on the totality of this video, then so be it. If it happens so that I have to edit and cut it out and not put it in there because of whatevs, then this whole man, 2-3 minutes of the intro would not make sense. But if you see the dancing prior or the stretching or the workout or just like good vibes, overall good vibes, and if you want to be like, how do I pick up some of those moves, some of those smooth moves, watch that video again. It's all in the hips, shoulder blades, it's all in the toes. A lot of people are like, how do you come up with the dance moves? How do you, was your father, did you have a father that was like similar to like, Michael Jackson's father? What was his name? Joe Jackson? Not even close. Not even, but like, so that's, I didn't have that like sort of like, oh, you gotta like learn to dance. So dancing's not my forte, but nonetheless, I do like to, bust a move here and there. Anyway, what have you been talking about? Today's Friday. Let's just bring it in. Today's a family sesh. It's a syndicate sesh. It's a little bit of a smooth ride. It's a little bit of a loose goose episode, if you will. And we're just gonna have some fun. Not gonna lie to you, I did want to like come in and tell you guys a little story in terms of like my little exercises that I do. This wasn't like the music portion of this video with the dance moves and the exercise. That's not it. This morning I did get up and I was like, oh, today's bicep day. Today's bicep triceps, right? And I got these little stretchy bands that I've tied, and 3 of them as a matter of fact, tied them all together. One large loop. We're talking about a elastic loop contraption that I've made, and then I use a broomstick, and then I do my bicep curls using these stretchy bands. I also do the old tries to get these muscles, these huge muscles that you see, these giant arms that give me a hard time really when it comes to entering or exiting literally any door. It's difficult. I do have to turn sideways because they're so massive. God. I do also need to have them licensed because these guns right here, right there, son, what you're like, we didn't think so. Oh, it looked lanky from afar and from a particular angle. And it is lanky, I'll tell you. It's long and lanky. That's what it is. You know what I'm talking about, to all my long and lankies out there. But the point is, you grow into it. They said you'd grow into it, and I'm trying to grow into it, right? But I was working on my bicep, and these elastic bands, every once in a while, I'll push a boundary where I've like surpassed my limit of like strength. Now we're about to go into a new realm. New heights, they said. You'll achieve new heights. So every time I get stronger after a few months, or that's what I'm telling myself, the stretchy bands rip. And it's been ripped. It's ripped several times, and every time I have to, take out the portion that's been ripped. and then tie it again. So it gets shorter, thus creating more resistance, hence resistance band training. And that's what it is. So I kept getting stronger and stronger. And this morning it ripped again, but this time it ripped and it ricocheted and hit the tip of my cock, dude. And it hurt like a bitch. No other pain can compare to it. Childbirth, I don't think so. Vaginal monthly visit from Onflow, I doubt it. You know, period cramps, not even close. Getting a hit on the tip of your cock with three elastic bands, resistant elastic. These are not elastic bands that are just like compliant. They're resistant, all right? I'm not trying to like paint any sort of picture here but it was dire circumstances. And that's what I said to myself, Lord, why are you testing me like this right now, right here, right now, right like this, right now? And he didn't hear anything back. And like, that's the thing. You do got to keep it spiritual, but like not for like minor little things. Cause like 8 billion of us, and even like one God, multiple gods, it's a big schedule. So I just like, oh God, why? No answer. Cause it's like minuscule. It doesn't, bigger, should it have been like 4 or 5 resistant bands to the nads? Maybe like, you should be working out with free weights and avoiding injuries like that or something. But nonetheless, what have you been talking about? The point is that I did my little training this morning, picked up a little injury of sorts, no bruising, no internal bleeding, but it was like, again, one of the worst pains man or woman can ever go through. And if you're out there, with a little, with a little or a medium or a regular size or a large, or if you got a rocket in that pocket, where we should be cupping. We should be cupping as men. I say we should be cupping on a regular. That's not like cupping, like wear a cup if you're going out there. Be safe, protect yourselves, essentially. That's what it is, man. We got it. I don't know why we don't use it. And that's the thing too with me. I'm just like, oh, you're just being like, I like to keep it real. I don't go in there and like powder my hands. I don't powder my tits or nothing before a workout. Though I'm raw dogging that workout. Dude, just right down the palm of my hands, and I'm just yerking on them resistant bands. I'm like, you want to resist? Resist this, bitch. That's what I said. And it ripped and it hit me in the nuts and it hurt, dude. So I just want to share that, get it off my chest, and then I wanted to be like, you know what? Since we're so pumped up, since we went to another level in terms of strength, since we've reached new heights, let's put in a little bit of extra work. Seemingly it's just for work, but I'm having so much fun. I don't even notice the exercise that I just did in the beginning of this video. And again, I hope that you get to see it, because I believe if you follow those exact same movements in the same exact manner as I did, you will get a body like the one that you have already. Just, and put in more work. It'll take time. You will get shaped. You get reshaped, redefined. You're fine with your definition. That's cool too. If you want to just maintain, that's fine as well. But what I'm trying to say is work out there, do a little something every day if you can, and avoid injuries at all costs, and wear cups at all costs. Bedroom, I wear a cup. Ladies, I wear a cup. Adults, young men, 18 plus, wear cups. Carry one for your friend. Ever run into a situation where like, anyone got an extra cup? You know what I mean? Everybody's always asking, oh, does anybody have extra gum? Anybody, that's the thing. Anytime you ask for an extra cup, you're like, oh, bring your own, Jesse. Or something, and it's like, what is it? It's a man in need of a cup. And no one out there is, it aches my heart. It aches my heart, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to look out. Baby boys, baby girls, it is Friday. Let's have some fun in the Great White North here. If you're tuning in, we are in Toronto, we are in Canada. If you're a newcomer to this show, buckle up, buckle down. We have fun every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You can find these videos on Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on YouTube and check out patreon.com/RobSadri. Again, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Glad you made it with your boy. And that's what we do, man. But here in the Canada, in the Great White North, we have amazing animals that do amazing, wonderful things on a daily. But sometimes, these animals just happen to misstep their boundaries. Animals gone wild, Canadian style. True Canadian style, and I'm talking about 2 particular animals. You might have already seen the videos or heard about the stories. Groundbreaking, breaking the ground news. Beautiful news, but also at the same rate, we'll get into it. A young Canadian man, I believe, was traumatized as he witnessed a Canadian moose in the middle of a jungle of sorts, just like shaking off his little antlers. And he thought he could just do that. He's like, I'm gonna just go, like, conduct a little bit of indecent exposure. Our boy happened to have a camera with him. I believe it was maybe his phone or maybe a camera. I don't know, but I did see a video. He is now traumatized by this particular event that happened. And that's the thing. I've had it up to more or less somewhere around here with these meese, plural. You know what the mooses, the meeses, just shaking off. That's one of them. It's the males that have got the antlers and then shake it off, or the something about the, I don't know what it is. It's like, it's the classic, use your weapon, drop your weapon situation. It's like, where'd you get those antlers? Why are you dropping them like in the middle of the jungle, in the middle of the woods? What's with the weird shake? And do we want our kids seeing this? As a Canadian, as a fellow Canadian, I'm concerned, because it could be any day. Now, this young man, I believe, was, he was capable of handling himself, but again, nonetheless, he might have to go and speak with somebody in terms of, how do I deal with this PTSD now? Because it's horrific once you see this wild animal just like, shake me, shake myself, and just like shake these antlers off, and just like it's nothing, bro. Like it's nothing, bro. We're just gonna pretend like this is normal. Imagine like if I were to like walk in the middle of the jungle and start just shaking my limbs, and just all of a sudden arms be falling off. Oh, completely normal. Normal. This guy, it's what everybody will say, pointing, No, so that's what it is, man. I want to find the assailant. He is now, ditched the disguise. Was it even a real moose? Was it even, because you do see a lot of people, engaging in furry act. Was it even a real moose, dog? You know what I mean? Go do some sketch activity dressed as a furry, go in the middle of the woods, ditch the outfit. Next thing you know, who did it? I don't know. That's just a regular moose. It's hibernation season. It's mating season, and you'll get really into it. You've thought this out. You'll go and like mate with other moose and meese and other animals too, because you're like, I'll stick this out for 6 months. I'll take it and I'll give it within the animal kingdom, and I can go back. And people will be like, where were you? I'll be like, not in town. And then they'll be like, did you hear about that wild story of a crime story? I'd be like, no, not at all. Meanwhile, you got like moose stuff all over you because that was your costume or something. The residue, look for the residue. Something about residue, something about DNA. Take it to the forensics, check it out. And obviously I don't want, regular people. What if there was a lady in the middle of the jungle, man? That is just like insane. Just putting it out there, I want to shake my antlers off. God, so it's despicable. I've had it up to, and frankly, I will take it out. Like, you give me, I will hunt that moose if you give me ammo, if you give me a gun of sorts, if you even, no gun needed, even just like a bow and arrow of sorts, a good knife, a good set of cutlery, give me 24 to 48 hours. I'm gonna also need some moose urine if you've got that handy as well. I'll need some moose urine, and I'll like just a little dab right here, just a little bit right here, a little bit right there, a little bit right there, a little bit right here, a little bit right there, a little bit right there. Where? A little bit right there. Right there, just a little bit, just everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? Just so you get because I want to be like, and I want to be putting him or her off the so-called moose, or is it maybe it's a furry? I don't know. If it's a furry, it's a human, so he or she will not be attracted to the moose urine, in which case I've got my human urine on tap, dog. So you don't need to worry about like, do we need to provide him with human urine in case that fella was not a real moose and it was actually a furry, and we need to like apprehend this convict, essentially this hardened criminal who is engaging in all sorts of weird subgenre categories that has just got way too much time in his or her schedule. You know what I'm talking about? But the point is, again, 48 hours, a gun, a bow and arrow, a Rambo knife of sorts, some makeup, so I could, some like, the black paint, I'll take care of the black paint on I got that covered. Headbands, or do-rags, or bandana. I've got bandanas, no do-rags. What about, do I need a getaway boat? I need a getaway boat, and I also need a getaway. I can drive there, but I do need a getaway boat. I don't know why, but I think it's just best to have it and not need it, but not, you know, need it and not have it. That's what they say about boats and getaway boats specifically. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll put this disgusting animal down, and we can share the meat and make it an example of how long one moose really goes in terms of like feeding so many people. I would love to, and I'd love to just, eat some myself, and also, just take a couple of pictures, just covered in soot and animal soot and blood. Okay, no soot, I'll bring my own soot, but nonetheless, just raw, putting it out there. So that's what I'm willing to do for the community, because that's what it is. Our animals have gone just a little bit too loose up in this bitch. Just the other day, simultaneously around the same time that this moose is shaking off his antlers, there's been a turkey, a legit gobble turkey videoed somewhere in the GTA. I forget whether it's in Mississauga or Brampton or somewhere, just standing in a bus station, just completely. These animals, I don't know if it's a chipped turkey, I don't know if it's like trying to like navigate, and what's it doing in the bus station? Next thing you know, that's what it is, man. You give an inch, they take an arm. Next thing you know, you're trying to like find a relatively decent, affordable housing for rent or something, and then this fucking big, I'm a big turkey. I want to just like, I take the bus and I show up and I got, and I can vouch for. And I can be vouched for this, and then next thing you know, you're fighting over a lease with this turkey who's taking a bus and showing off to your job and like fucking like making phone calls and writing stuff and using Chat GPT or some shit to like create stuff, putting you out of a job. I'll take that animal out as well. I don't need a gun or a knife or anything, but you give me the green light. It'll get lit. I'll go in smooth, I'll come out smoother. I will do whatever it takes to engage with this turkey. I will not, because that's what it is, man. What if there are children on these bus stops? What if there are like women's? What if there is like elderly? What if they happen to be elderly women's with children's, and there's a wild turkey in our bus stop, in our city? Toronto, if you see this turkey, who do you call? What do you do? Is there anyone you even like to reach out to? No, sometimes you got to take it in your own hands, but like also don't, because I really don't know. I genuinely don't know. What do you do in case you come across a wild turkey just fucking like getting up in your grill, taunting you, mocking you, and you can't do anything because it's like, if you were like 6 feet tall, homie, just standing with that face 6 feet tall, and maybe that's just like, that's just how, maybe maybe we're like little by little getting accustomed to, I don't know, maybe it's like, let's go really far off into the deep end with this. Maybe it's like, aliens are like, get used to this shit, because you're going to be seeing that shit like just in larger form. Next thing you know, again, maybe that's what an alien looks like. 6 feet turkey is like, get used to that in your bus stop, fella. Get used to that. A couple of just giant moose shaking off there. Was it even in, again, questions to be asked. Friggin' moose and turkeys just harassing the public. But it is Friday, ladies and gents, boys and girls. It's time to engage together. It's time to come together and have some fun. I've been trying to come up with ideas of how to create a more resilient, how do we build resiliency in society? How do we like go about like, taking the steps that are necessary to, get the population going, get everybody excited, families doing it differently. And I thought about venomous snakes for children. Venomous snakes for children. I'll say it 3 times so it sticks. Venomous snakes for children. You've heard it here first, and I stand by that. I said, why? Tired of regular babies that grow up playing with cats and dogs. I know. So 2022. It is 2023. It's here. We're together doing it in the future. This is the future, baby. What I present to you guys is an opportunity to grow stronger babies, resilient babies, babies who will stare a snake right in the eye. Right in the eye. I'm talking a python, a large python for every venomous python. Because, again, babies who grow up with cats, who grow up with dogs, tend to be just like, oh, we're accustomed to that. We see them, regular babies that's growing up normal, doing normal things, but let's bring in a little bit of resiliency. Babies who grow up with cats and dogs can't really take care of themselves. A baby who can be easily crushed by a double venomous python cobra mix is a go-getter, is learning how to handle him or herself. You're out there, taking care of business. The cobra python double venomous cobra python snake watching over the kid watching over the double venomous snake cobra python mix, and they're watching and that's the thing. At one point or another, yes, the python might get hungry. Yes, the python might get a little bit bitey, a little bit fangy, just going in there, just hissing at the baby. Might even come at the baby, might even bite the baby, might even sting the baby, might give it a little bit, but that's the thing. Regular cat and dog babies, they'd be like, the dog scratched me, oh no, hey ma, come help me, the cat scratched me. Double venomous snake babies are essentially the babies that you want to have in your life, because they'll be able to call the 911s, because they've grown up in a different world. Call the 911s, gave their name, their location, which is their address, their age, the severity of the situation, maybe a concise summary of what is going on, and remaining calm really through the whole thing, despite the fact that they are now swole throughout their entire body. The venom is all spread all over through their organs, their veins, their arteries. It is a nightmare, but nonetheless, this baby is cool as a cucumber, like a snake. So, luckily, the operator on the other side of the phone call will gladly send somebody of medical, and hopefully somebody with medical background, not just like somebody. They could just send somebody, you know what I mean? Because, if you're working at the 911, hook up a couple of your, relatives, friends, it doesn't always have to be, from the group that It's if they're busy, if John and Nancy 911 are busy, call your cousin who's been looking for work. You know what I mean? Hey, some kid's been bitten by a double venomous snake mix of a cobra and a python. Wanna go give a hand? And they'll be like, yes, of course. And that's again engaging, bringing the community together, ladies and gents. So that's the thing with these babies, man. Yes, are they gonna have a little fucking swollen neck, big eyeballs, can't really see anything? Yes, but were they able to handle themselves and come out on the other side? Most of them, yes. Some of them will be lost, yes. Some of these babies, and that's how you cut the wheat from the chaff, or separate the chaff from the wheat. You want to keep the wheat? The chaff's got to be good for something too, no? You got to separate the weaklings. You got to get rid of the pansies early on, is what I'm trying to tell you, because you want strong, resilient babies. Or something. I don't even know. If you want regular 2022 babies, then go with regular cats and dogs. 75% of babies that grow up with snakes do not make it. Legit. But the other 25 will go on to be living lives that are just and that's the thing. They walk into a regular rainforest, get bitten by any old snake. Resistance built in, fam, just because we gave them a little bit of that venom early on. Think outside the box, raise a baby that is different, raise a baby that is right, raise a snake baby. Essentially, that's what I'm putting out there today. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, it's Friday. It's Friday. I hope you're doing well wherever you are, whether you're in Canada dealing with rough animals. But that's we're nature, baby. You look at this guy right here. All about the nature, all about the woods, all about the jungles, all about, because people who aren't engaged with nature, that's the type of fellow, you go for a walk, go for a little stroll, go spend time with an animal or something, because that's the type of fellow, if you neglect that aspect of your life, that's the type of fellow who you'll see running loose in the middle of the highway with road rage. Videos of people online coming at other people in extreme aggro style, just oh, I'm gonna drive in a plateless Tesla. I'm gonna get out of this plateless Tesla, and go aggro on a couple of ladies and bash a couple of cars. That's a fella who's not been engaged with the snakes. That's the fella that's not even engaged with the dogs or the cats. You know what I'm talking about? So go ahead and be like, no snake babies for me. I'm gonna wait and see how the market reacts. Your baby's gonna be the road rage fella. That's your baby. You want that baby? Come collect your baby. Whose baby is that? God. Point is, that's a grown man at this point. That is a grown man at this point. I did see it. I don't know if you guys saw it. It's cray-cray. It's coming out there with like a bat out of his car. It's like, oh, I'm road rage Ronnie. Road rage Ronnie. Urgh. Taking out the rage on the road. I'm road rage Ronnie. Taking out my anger in my car. Road rage Ronnie. Bashing women's cars with metal bars. Road rage Johnny. Ronnie. Or Johnny. It could be anyone. Really. Point is, just balance or something. Go pet an animal so that you're not, taking it out on other people's cars or faces. Or so this guy's wild. How have you not caught him yet? Apparently he's done this several times. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this, right? You guys have seen this, right? So the fella somewhere, I don't know where it is. Find him. There's videos of his face. How do you not? It's there. Catch him. Anyway, point is, ladies and gents, that I've also thought about other ways to innovate and bring about fun games that we could collectively play together. I'm thinking of a new game that's it's a combination of games. It's a combination of rollerblading and roller derby, if I'm not mistaken, and also smoking a lot of weed. I'm thinking we call it Roller Blaze. It'll be in a enclosed space, so there will be fans, lots of fans, also simultaneously passing a J around, a few J's, maybe a lot of J's, and they'll be watching people playing tag on rollerblades, but also passing a joint or trying. I've not yet figured out the entire rules of the game, but imagine people like rollerblading, on blades, or just people rollerblading, and then playing tag like you're it, and every time you tag someone, you gotta pass the joint or take the joint. I still not have, because it's like a team thing. I want to figure it out, but like, you know what I mean? Like going really fast, and then also like, I don't know, different rules. Maybe like if you touch, like flag football sort of rules. Like if you touch a fella, or you got to give up the joint. Or if you touch a fella's or a lady's shoulder blades or hands or kneecaps, back of kneecaps, elbows. Maybe if you lick their heel. Maybe if because you're fast, you're like, oh, I'm on my rollerblade, and then you Superman fly, lick a toe, come back up. You're it. You know what I'm talking about? Classic you're it tag movements, but of also, incorporating different, take this, get this out of my hand, or give this to me. It's mine. I tagged you. It's mine. I still haven't figured that portion out. But the point is that we could get that going, and it'd just be a hell of a lot of fun for like 30 minutes or like 60 minutes or 90 minutes. 90 minutes is a full like soccer match, which is too much cardio for that sort of activity. But like 45 minutes of like intense you're it, and everybody's blazing and everybody's like running and skating on rollerblades, which is fun, really, really fun. Think about it, let it simmer, put it on the back burner. It doesn't have to like come and to fruition overnight. I know big plans and big events do take a long time, but think about it really. I really genuinely mean this. Like think about that. People run, oh, you're it. Oh, and then taking a little, pass it, or like, or if you get caught too many times, like you got to take, you take a breath, you inhale, keep it in your mouth, and you got to like give it orally to somebody else, and then and you can't let it out. So you're there just like, it's building, you take a big hit, It's in there, and then you got to find somebody, get them, tap them a couple of times. They're it, and then you got to open their mouth and then blow the air inside their mouth. This game's wild. This game's wild. You signed up for it. You signed a contract. You're in a contract now, fella. Can't be going anywhere else playing rollerblades. Rollerblades is a true Canadian sport. Sure, there's going to be other outfits down somewhere else, but rollerblades is where it started. Don't you ever forget it. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gents, it's all about having fun, of course. It's all about having fun. It's all about having fun. Something that's like let's switch it up a little bit. Let's switch it up, but also like let's switch it down. Let's switch it up, let's switch it down. This has been in Canadian news anyway for a little bit. I didn't even know how to like bring it up, but I wanted to like just little see where it goes. Apparently there was a lady in Toronto that's gone missing for some time. She's been, I don't even know, this is a wild story, but apparently it's been over a year or something. She's been missing. They've caught the boyfriend and two other people, or the ex-boyfriend of this lady, but they've still not found the lady. And there's other people apparently involved in this situation. And it's just like, a lot of people go missing. It's just like, not a lot of people, but like people in life do sometimes go missing. And they want to find her, and and she's like a regular person. She's like a regular everyday person. So as a regular everyday, because like if you're like a big person, or if you're like if you're really wealthy, you get like a lot of attention, or like you have more reason. You put like $10 million up. I think I spoke about this a little while back. A couple in Toronto, Barry and Honey Sherman, who owned a pharmaceutical manufacturing company, millionaires, big money, big pharma, happen to just like, they got hit, dude. They got hit essentially. To me, it's like, oh, what's going on? Is it mob activity? Is it like, who is it? Is it what is going on? Because this doesn't seem like a regular, it doesn't seem like I don't know what it seems like, but it seems like something's going on. Anyway, like in that scenario, that's a person or a family with means, resources, and they put out a bunch of money and they're like, help us, and still you might not be able to find that person or persons responsible for that crime. But like, what about a regular person? This lady apparently went missing, and again, like, that's what it is. And I like, and I thought about it. I'm like, if you're a lady out there, if you know something's about to go down, because like ladies like pick up on certain things. Let's just put it this way. You ladies out there have strong senses, good senses. So if you feel like you're in a bad situation, a couple of weeks prior, I would suggest to battle because like we've had other like ladies go missing. Like Indigenous women in Canada go missing all the time. Like nobody ever like, talks about it. It's a thing. And this lady is missing. She's missing. She's been missing for like a year now. And they've caught the ex-boyfriend again and two other people, but we don't know where the lady is. So I'm just like trying to figure out like, but then I remember a similar situation where like Gabby Petito went missing, I believe, in the US, and everybody was all over that. I didn't even know Gabby Petito. I'm here in Canada. I'm like, who is Gabby? Everywhere was like bombarded with photos, pictures of Gabby Petito. She was not like, as far as I know, I don't know too much about it. She wasn't like rich or anything, like, or her family wasn't like, uber wealthy as far as I know or anything. But like you did hear about this story, and I'm like, well, why do we keep hearing about Gabby Petito, but like not some Indigenous woman up in Canada somewhere or some other lady? So I thought about it. Really difficult, but it was like staring me right in the eye, right in the face. And essentially, if you're a lady and you feel like something's about to go, here's the thing. This sucks. This is not the way it should be. It's not how I feel, but this is the way it sometimes is, most often is, shouldn't be. This is not how I feel. Let me just reiterate this because it shouldn't be this way. But for some reason, for some obvious reason, when there's a hottie missing, everyone's on that shit, doggy. Gabby Petito, I'm here in Canada, dude. Everybody like around the world, we're like, where the fuck is this douchebag of a boyfriend, this fucking murderer douchebag of a boy? Because immediately you looked at the female and you're like, yes, certified yes. You know, rest in peace, Gabby. But also you're like, let's find the asshole who was behind this, and eventually they did, or you know, I think he ended up committing suicide or whatever, but like it was dealt with. We came to a conclusion. It sucks, absolutely. It shouldn't be that way, but everybody was talking about it. This lady's been missing for a year, and nobody seems to be like. And apparently, there's like they've caught 3 guys. How hard is it to catch the other people who are more like find the body? You know what I mean? So stories like that happen, and I'm just like, what do you do if you're like if you're a lady and you feel like something's gonna go down? I would, as a way to like go really, and like, you know, ladies are beautiful, I'll say that straight up, and then like all you ladies are beautiful in your own special way, but there's like, you know, and if we're talking like what is generically like, you know, what'll get the guy's attention at the old station, down into downtown station, at the police station. You know what I'm talking about? Before you think something's gonna go down, start putting on like make yourself look like something somebody would wanna, you know what I mean? Go out for and do something for, like, you like, cause like if you're like 2-3 weeks prior to you, like, you know, and this shouldn't be the way it is, but like 2-3 weeks prior to anything, like you feel like something's gonna go down, start looking really like, you know, really put yourself, like, you know, take care of yourself, girl. You know what I'm talking about? Like fucking push up bra that shit, fucking high heel that shit. You're not a high heel lady. I don't even like high heels on ladies personally, but like the generic, like you want to be like nails that are not too long but not too short, like things that, like, generically speaking, appealing to the mass male female psyche. Because like you see a lady or a fellow who's just like, nah, reality. But if you're like, if you're banging, that's what I was like, why is this lady, where are the other people? Because they're old and rich, nobody gives a fuck. At the end of the day, and like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, we absolutely should. And there's a $10 million reward for that, which again, at any point, you know, if you got something that you'd like to share with me that I could share with somebody else, that we could all share in this, and not to say that this is, I've said this before, this is not about the money, but it's about closure at this point. And same with this other lady. I looked into it, apparently it's only like 100,000 reward, which is not, you know, horrible. This is horrible, disgusting is what it is. But I was at the same rate, objective, because one day I'm, you know, just like everybody, you put yourself in other people's shoes. Like, what if, you know, you gotta raise, you know, how do you, gosh, this sucks, but how do you like tackle it if you feel like something's about to go down? A few weeks prior, make sure you look your best, so that when there are pictures being, you know, put online, and I'm like, this is not the way it should be, absolutely not. But how do you, like, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. If you're a hottie with a body, we'll try looking for you. If you're just like, you know, pussyfooting around the idea, am I showing a cleavage? Am I showing a, you know, do you want to be found or not? That's what I'm saying, dude. That's not what I'm saying, like, but that's how it is. I feel. But I may be completely wrong. I probably am, because I don't even know what I'm talking about a lot of times. God, I don't know anything. But there is a woman missing. And if we can find her together, hopefully. I don't even know how we got here. It was on my mind. Because it was just on my mind. All right, it was on my mind. I didn't want to bring it up. I did want to bring it up because it's interesting. It sucks that it's good, but that's, oh God, it's like being, oh boy. Boys and girls, let's switch gears, because it's Friday after all. It's Friday, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. If you've learned anything, the moral of the story here is that take care of yourselves, first of all. Second of all, it is Friday. Time for you to, you know, put yourself out there you know, how do you put it up? How do you put it down? How do you, you know, and you just gotta try, and you gotta try, and you gotta go and do things that are uncomfortable and reach around topics or places or things that are a little bit like, oh, what is going on? But go there, because that's what I'm telling myself. Because like at the root of it, you're like, if there's a thing to be like learned or picked up on, we should learn. And some things are rather difficult at times to face and deal. What are we even talking about? It's, man, happy Friday, boys and girls, ladies and gents. Do you ever like start sweating in certain places and everywhere? Because you're just like, oh man, sweating, getting clammy. This guy right here, I'll get clammed up real quick. You know, and just the palms, nice and clammy. You know, inner thighs, nice and clammy. Thank you very much. Butt cheek, clammed up. Armpits, already said that. Clammed up, nice and clammy. Because I do it, let's, you know, let's just switch the gears. We've gone through the things that we wanted to switch the gears through. I do it at a big, I do it at a small. Oh man, I do it at a small, I do it at a medium, and I do it at a bigger. I do it at a sizes. It's all about, I do it at a small, at a medium, and a large. What is happening? What is happening in our world? A lot of things. It's a beautiful day. I'll tell you that much. I do it at a small, I do it at a big, I do it at a medium. I wish I had a nice accent of like, if I had like an Italian accent, or like a Jamaican accent or an Irish accent, for like legit though. I'd do things with it. I do things with it. I do it at a smaller, I do it at a medium, and big to a, you know, just a little something in there. It would have been nice. But not for this guy. Wasn't in the cards. No siree. No siree, Bob. Was not in the cards. But I'll tell you one thing, man. I'll tell you one thing. I've never let anything come in my way or get in my way, or if it should get in my way, I always try to, you know, find a way around it or over it or through it or dig under it. I just try to, you know, essentially all of us, what we're trying to do is just move forward. Let us move forward. Let us move forward together, boys and girls. It is Friday. I hope wherever you are in and around this beautiful planet, you are busy enjoying your favorite dish. I hope your bellies are filled with all the num and the yum. I hope you're stuffing your faces with dessert, and I hope that you are engaging in the sexual after dessert, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm alluding to? After dessert, you dirty little bastards out there, you know what I'm talking about? The double dessert. You double dipping in the double dessert dish. Ooh, yeah, you earned it, lady, fella. You earned it. And I hope you engaged in the sexual in the safest way possible, which means wearing what, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Life jackets whilst sexing. Wearing gloves whilst sexing. What kind of gloves? Neon yellow gloves. Hells yeah, I'm talking the type that your mom used to wear for washing dishes. Neon or just regular yellow plasticky gloves for the sex. Why? Because you want your hands to smell like weird rubber after you take off the yellow gloves that were originally designed for washing dishes, but somehow you found it suitable for the bedroom. Was it a mistake? Was it a turn on? Ooh, I'm gonna just wash a couple of dishes, baby. I'm out here in the kitchen getting these rubbery gloves soapy for you. And then you're like, yeah, I want you to come here and take it off. And you start trying, but you're struggling. You're struggling because it's weird, because once your hands start to sweat in there, it's tight, it's snug, and you're like, oh God, if I focus on getting this glove off my hand. I'm gonna use all the blood, and the blood's gonna run away from my cock, and I'm gonna lose my erection. So do I take off the gloves or be like, you know what, honey, do these gloves turn you on? And she's like, not particularly. Like, that's my girl, that's what I want to hear, and you keep them on. Well, why? Because it's now or never, baby. You wanted it hard, rock hard. You want to rock hard, or do you want to just like mild and like, you know, do you want to like have to wake it up again? Do you want to be like, do you want to just lay down for like 5 to 10 minutes? Maybe just like talk about anything, really, until it comes back. Do you want to do that? Or do you just be like, you know what, I love your stupid yellow gloves. They do smell like disgusting latex, but once we're in the middle of it, does it even matter? Not really. But the point is to remain, I don't even know what I was saying. I'm just trying to be like, you know what? Have fun and be safe out there, essentially. Wear goggles. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of people don't wear goggles during sex. Should you wear goggles? If you're like, I've had enough of regular kissing is fine. But because like everything fits, the mouth with my mouth and her mouth, or her mouth and her mouth, or his mouth and his, the mouths and the nose and the face is like, it's like a little, it's like somehow the weird Tetris that is life fits. But go ahead and introduce a couple of thick goggles, and now you're just like, you know, bumping goggle to goggle. Is it weird? Is it irritating? Is it the type of goggle that'll like block your nose, maybe used for a scuba diving, so now you're having difficulty breathing? Well, that's not fun. Suffocating. Jesus Christ, this is horrible. Unless you're one of the very, 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 very small and rare population that likes to, you know, do weird things in the bedroom. Like wearing goggles and, you know, gasping for air, or putting, I don't know, doing weird stuff. But not weird in the sense that I'm judging. It's good enough as it is. There's just so much to be, you know, oh, what a beautiful gift that is life. What a beautiful, lovely thing that it is, but on its own. But sometimes you're like, latex it up. Dishwasher gloves on. Dishwasher gloves on for life. You know what I'm talking about? Fellas, ladies, let's make that a thing. If we could get one thing out of this story today, is how to protect yourselves. A, dishwasher gloves. B, goggles during the sex. 3, C, if you're female or even male and you feel like something's about to go down, make yourself a little fucking just juicy online or something. Put up a couple of, you know, like, put it out there so that people want to, at least the headlines, because I bet the people are feeling relatively the same. It's just like, I guess it's like the headlines, where does it go? Where does the attention go? Try to, you know, if you're a fella out there, if you feel like something's about to, you know, whatever, you're engaged in a particular relationship that you're like, man, it's weird, you know, I don't know what you're up to, but then start taking a couple of pictures with babies, a couple of pictures with animals, you cradling a little live baby lion, you helping a wild group of red ants migrate. You're just like, you're sitting there, you're like, these ants from this colony want to get to these ants in this colony, and I'm just going to put my body and allow them to go over me, so to avoid stepping in this puddle. Happens to be a puddle where you're standing, and you're like, nobody ever thinks about the smallest yet strongest animals. The size really matter. Think about it. Point is, take a few photos of yourself that'll be like, oh man, this fellow's like, oh man, we should do something about this fellow, like, we should find him. Same thing with the ladies. Take a couple of pictures with a couple of koalas. Put all them puppies out there, if you know what I'm talking about. The cakes, the goods, the sweets. So that, you know, so that people are like, man, You know what I'm talking about? Because if you're a hottie and you go missing, that's like, everybody's like, man, that guy must have been a douche, must have been a straight up, you know. If it's like, if you're like, you know, if you're like, if you could just go like, and nobody would notice, they'd be like, what'd she do? You know what I mean? Was she being annoying? Was she being like, you know, what did she say? What was his side of the story? But if it's like a hot chick immediately, what are we even talking about today? But I think that's just what I learned. I think that's just what I learned. Shouldn't be that way. But just putting it out there, man. It is Friday. Baby boys, baby girls. I said to myself, go in there and try to put yourself somewhere that's not here or there. And I think I believe I achieved that. Because I definitely did put myself somewhere here. And the point is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, where can you find these unexpected, surprising videos that'll just be like all over the place, talking about everything and nothing under the sun? You can find them again on Instagram. Why don't you go ahead and follow your boy? Help out the old algorithm. The algorithm is an old, shriveled up man behind a wheel, turning a little algorithm wheel. And this old man is just, oh, he doesn't have time to, you know, turn the wheel on all the algorithms, so you're gonna have to, you know, give the old man a little push behind it. It's like, you know, the old man needs a Viagra. Same thing for the algorithm. Over on YouTube, subscribe so you get the full length videos. Also help the algorithm. The algorithm on YouTube is a lady, a shriveled old lady, tits dry, vag dry, but nonetheless, we do love her. She's been in that position for some time. She has tenure. Her tits are down to her kneecaps. Bless her soul. She is trying. And there's just so many wonderful people creating so many wonderful things. And I love it. And there's so many beautiful people doing amazing things. Where else can you find these videos? I'm glad you asked. You can find them on patreon.com/RobSadri. You're like, how does this all work? Because it might be your first time. We are a new operation. Relatively speaking, we are trying to grow little by taking teeny tiny baby steps. You're like, I like to see, when I see a project and I like to fund it just so I can see it grow right before my eyes, because I got this obsession with watching things grow before my eyes. And to that I say, start a family. You're like, been there, done that. I'm like, get a pet, watch the pets grow. You're like, been there, done that. I'm like, get a couple of plants. You're like, been there, done that. Have you tried fish? Been there, done that. You're like, okay, what else is there? You can go ahead and check out patreon.com/RobSadri. If you like the videos, you see them, they're up there for free, all on YouTube's, all on Instagram's, all on patreon.com. But you're like, man, I like what I'm seeing, and I like to just, you know, invest as an initial investor. Just so I can be like, you know what, I like what I'm seeing, and I'm just gonna go and do that. And if you want to enjoy for free, of course, that is available for your beautiful face and your beautiful eyes and your ears and your mind. So I do thank everybody who's been with me from the get-go for letting me be a part of your lives. Thank you for being a part of my life. And we are growing and expanding like mushrooms. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We are the prolapsed anus of the, go back to the mushrooms. The mushrooms were way better than the prolapsed anus. We are not a prolapsed anus. I'll tell you one thing. We may be one thing. We may be one thing here at Gladyamadeit, but the prolapsed anus is not one of them. And not to judge. If you've got if you're a prolapsed anus owner, I would love to hear from you. How does it? Because everybody sees the glory of the heyday of the prolapsed anus riding high. Oh, they're magnificent. But how fast can you burn the wick at both ends and still have juice to go further? Think about that before you go and invest in a prolapsed anus. Boys and girls, I'll be back here again on Monday. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great weekend out there. Love y'all. Peace out.